What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to talk about the pros and the cons about the campaign of Battlefield 6. So we finally finished the campaign. I felt like the game was a pretty good game. I personally would rate it a 10, no, like an 8 out of 10. I felt like they did a pretty good job of explaining the stories. I know a lot of people got confused, which they probably didn't understood the cutscenes pretty well, but overall, I feel like they did a pretty good job with the game. I know that they only had like, I think it was like 3 months of finishing the campaign because like another studio just quit on the whole game, I think, because they had to help out another area out. I'm not quite sure. I forgot what it was. I heard like on a little like notes, like I seen it and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If I find that, I'll put it on the video, but if I don't, sorry. I'll make sure I'll find it next time. But overall, what I really noticed with the game, you could have tell which parts was going to be predictable and which parts weren't, which a lot of modes that made it feel like it was predictable. But I feel like that the game, they did a pretty good job of explaining the story, but it felt rushed. For instance, each mission was close to 30 minutes, and there's one map that you had to like control the jet, not the jet, it was the tank. You had to control the tank and you had to blow up like the area, and then you had to leave and then pick up this helicopter that crashed. You had to pick him up or rescue him basically. That whole mission, I felt like they didn't know what to do. I felt like that they are like, oh, we're losing train of thoughts. Hey, we got some tanks, we'll use them. Me personally, I felt like the tanks were really bad. Like, I'm not quite sure if anyone had this problem, but for me, every single time I'm trying to aim, my whole tank just started shifting in circles. I wasn't even moving I wasn't moving forward, I wasn't moving back, I wasn't even touching it. I was just looking around trying to aim on that tank, and then it moved my whole aim center, so it just made the whole game felt like trash, I'll be honest. But overall, besides that mission, most missions kind of gave me the vibe of 2019 of Modern Warfare. It really gave me that vibe. Especially there's one map that you had to clean out the house, or like in 2019, I think the mission's called Clean House, I think also. That map, that one was one of my favorites. I'll probably always remember that part of 2019 specifically. But I felt like that Battlefield 6 noticed that and they tried to remake it, but made it a worse version of it. Come to think about it, I think that was episode 6. I forgot what the mission was called, but it was the part when you had to save the president and you had to go to that one house to clean it, and it was really noticeable because as soon as you clean out the house, actually I think it was episode 5 or 4, it was one of that, because we tried to find him, but we, instead of finding the guy, we found like a video call from him specifically, just talking about it was a hoax and stuff like that. Overall, I forgot the main antagonist, I forgot his name, but I felt like that the game was a great game, but I felt a lot of deja vu from COD games specifically, especially 2019. Yes, it's one of my favorite games. I love 2019. when COVID was hitting, that's the only thing I was playing. I think I have close to 2,000 hours on that game. Besides that, with me playing the campaign, I really enjoyed it overall. The only thing I didn't like was when you had to destroy the machine gunners. They were a pain in the ass, because every single time I'm trying to shoot him, especially with a sniper, I felt like I was shooting like a BB gun. It really didn't feel like I was doing any damage to him, which is fair because his whole body's shield. But even though when I was shooting his legs, nothing really happened. But I guess you had to been in a certain angle, which made no sense. But especially with the snipers, they felt really, really bad. When I was playing the campaign, I really felt like that the whole mode didn't really felt smooth, especially with that sniping. The second mission, you had to snipe. I mean, I love sniping, overall. I love quick scoping. It's one of my favorite things. But like when I was sniping on that map, it felt clunky. Every single time I know about the bullet drops. I completely understand that. I understand it will drop the bullets, but when I'm in that certain distance, when I shoot their head, like when they're near in cover, but then when they peek their head out and I shoot at them, it wouldn't count. Or when I see their top of their head, I shoot at them and it doesn't count. And it was like maybe them like at least 20 feet away from me, or maybe less. There were some parts they felt really clunky, especially on episode 2 when I was sniping this one group. I couldn't figure out the bullet drop or even how to, because I felt like the snipings really felt off. Because when I was aiming at a specific person, it felt like it didn't hit, or my bullets couldn't register at the same time, or like I spaced them. Like I even tried to figure out when they're running full speed, how much do I have to go in front of them to hit him specifically. It took me a while to understand it, but it's whatever. Realistically, it's not a big deal. I noticed also with couple missions that the vehicles, they were very buggy, especially when you had to drive them. They were really, really terrible. They didn't felt like the multiplayer. I felt like they had to made a new game when you played the multiplayer versus the campaign. The tanks felt different, the cars felt different, the guns felt different, the sniping, the whole thing felt different. I mean, in some sense it really felt good because it felt new. It didn't feel like, oh yeah, I know this mechanics, and but also with me playing it, I noticed a lot of vehicles were buggy when I was driving, or like we're in a small cutscene but you're still in the game. When you're driving forward, I noticed there was some cars just bugging in my car, and I didn't clip it. It was one of my clips. When I was making it, my whole car was upside down, and the two vehicles just basically just kept going, basically just following the dotted line. And I mean, I don't have no problems with it. I love seeing bugs because they were funny. But I also noticed that a lot of times when they spoke, some mouths didn't match, or like when they were speaking, they didn't match the time in the queue. They didn't really hit the queue. But overall, I would say Battlefield 6 campaign was a great campaign. It was rushed, that's for sure. You can't doubt it. They also used a lot of remakes. What I mean by that is, like, whenever a mission's over, they remove the side of the line. Like, for instance, the last mission, you'll just notice like the whole map is covered with fire and smoke, and I felt like I seen that part like a lot of times in like 2 different missions. I mean, I don't have no problems with that. It's cool to see that because no other game does that. I really hope that they have a DLC for the campaign or something like, for instance, the Battle Royale that's coming out in literally on the 28th. So I think it's 9 days. So I'm really excited to see that because like it gives me something to do and it gives me more content to talk about. But I really hope that they're doing the same thing like Call of Duty did, expound on the campaign to Warzone, or also known as the Battle Royale. I felt like that it was really enjoyable playing the campaign. It made me feel like I was actually there, and it was a lot of fun, let's be honest. Overall, I give the whole game in general a 8 out of 10, just like I said at the beginning. But yeah, I felt like the game was pretty good. The campaign is great. The multiplayer is great. The portal, or not the, actually, yeah, the portal. I have a problem with the portal. I can't join. It's like locked for me. It tells me to purchase, which makes no sense. I thought portal was free. At the beginning it was, but anyways, I felt like the campaign was a pretty good part of the game. I'm really excited to see how the Battle Royale goes. I really hope it's not going to be like, I think it was 2042. It was a disaster that they had the same kind of mode going on and a lot of people didn't like it. I never played it personally because I didn't have a chance. I was on Warzone and playing Call of Duty, of course. Overall, I feel like the game did a pretty good job of explaining the story, kind of getting to the part, especially the episode 1, that mode, or that banger, like the first mission, like your whole team just dies. I really enjoyed that. It kind of made me feel like I was actually there, even though I say this a lot. But if you just shut your mind off and just enjoy the game and like just to listen to the story, it really makes you feel like you're there because it just gives you that weird vibe going on with it. I mean, I enjoyed it and I hope a lot of people did too. Yeah, again, I give the game a 9 or 8 out of 10. Hope the Battle Royale does the same. Multiplayer, they're doing a great job. They're listening to their community instead of like Call of Duty does. They don't do that really, but I feel like Battlefield 6 is going in a great direction for 2026 specifically. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen till the next following years. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, letting me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and yeah, you guys have a great night. See you later.